Greetings everyone. So today I want to read you a passage from a book. It relates in a way, the chapter that this passage is from is about the sexual abuse scandal in the church. But this relates more to something else. Now, before I read it, we'll often hear about some disturbing things happening in seminaries. About there being different groups and gangs in seminaries, and not only that, but also in the Vatican, who are very much pushing and promoting promiscuity. And we'll sometimes hear these said by maybe some YouTube Catholic personalities or some Catholic media known for kind of being very critical of a lot of what's going on in the church. And sometimes you'll hear that and you'll think, well, maybe they're just looking to sensationalize, maybe they're just looking for a story, something controversial that people will read. Some people will, watch these videos or read this news on the websites and they'll believe them. Others will kind of look at it and think, I'm not so sure. There's no, do they really have this proof, any proof that this is happening, or are they just kind of trying to make an article that's going to get loads of clicks, or make a video that's going to get loads of views? But let me show you the book that I'm reading right now. It's actually written by Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, Joseph Ratzinger. It's called Western Culture Today and Tomorrow. And the reason it says Joseph Ratzinger and Benedict XVI is because it actually takes things that he said, because it's like a compilation of things. Some of them he wrote or said when he was still a cardinal, and then some of them are from when he's a pope. And the part that I'm going to read to you is from when he was the pope. And it relates to some of the things that were happening in the seminaries. He doesn't go into great detail about it, but he does mention it. So I suppose what I'm saying is, if you sometimes have problems believing some YouTubers or some maybe Catholic media who likes sensational stuff, or even secular media if you trust them on Catholic issues, would you at least trust the Pope Emeritus when he says this is going on? So I'm going to read this bit for you. It's just a few pages. I'll try not to be too long. Here's what he writes. As I have tried to show, the unraveling of the Christian understanding of morality, an ongoing process that was long in preparation, attained an unprecedented radicality in the 1960s. This confusion concerning the Church's moral teaching authority was bound to have an effect on her various spheres of life. In the context of the meeting of Episcopal Conference presidents from across the world with Pope Francis, which took place in February 2019, the question of priestly life as well as seminarians is of particular interest. When it comes to the issue of seminary preparation for the priestly ministry, one can indeed note a widespread breakdown from the earlier form of this preparation. So here he's really talking about how, it used to be much better the way priests were prepared in seminary, and then there were some issues, and he's going to go through some of them now. In various seminaries, homosexual cliques rose up that acted more or less openly and that markedly changed the climate in these seminaries. In one seminary in southern Germany, candidates for the priesthood lived together with candidates for the lay pastoral ministry. At the common meals, seminarians and lay pastors, sometimes accompanied by their wives and children, sometimes by their girlfriends, all ate together. The climate in this seminary could not facilitate preparation for the priestly office. The Holy See knew of such problems without having precise information. As a first step, an apostolic visitation to United States seminarians was ordered. Since the criteria for the selection and the appointment of bishops had been changed after the Second Vatican Council, the relationship of bishops to their seminaries was also very different. Now, the main criterion for the appointment of new bishops was seen to be their conciliarity, I think you pronounce it that way, which of course could be understood to mean very different things. In fact, in many parts of the Church, the conciliar attitude was understood as a critical or negative approach to the hitherto existing tradition, which was now to be replaced by a new, radically open relationship with the world. One bishop, who had previously been a seminary rector, arranged for the seminarians to be shown pornographic films, supposedly with the intention of making them thereby resistant to behavior contrary to the faith. There were individual bishops, not only in the United States of America, who rejected the Catholic tradition altogether and strove to cultivate a kind of new modern Catholicity in their diocese. Perhaps it's worth mentioning that in not a few seminaries, students caught reading my books were considered unsuitable for the priesthood. My books were hidden away like naughty literature and only read, as it were, under the desk. So books by Pope Emeritus, seen as a bad thing if you read them. The apostolic visitation that took place at this point brought no new findings, apparently because various powers had joined together to conceal the real situation. A second visitation was ordered, which brought to light considerably more information, but on the whole failed to achieve any results. So there we go. That's from Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, and he's talking about the issues and how, some of the things that are going on in seminaries and things that various bishops are doing. This isn't some conspiracy theory YouTube Catholic channel. This is the previous Pope. So I just want to read that to you because I was reading that, and I would say I was one of those people. I'm not saying that whenever I heard about these kind of, you hear about the Lavender Mafia and all these things, I wouldn't say I just brushed it off and thought, no, this is a load of nonsense. I thought this could be something, but I wasn't sure as to how deep it was. I was like, maybe there's something going on, but maybe it isn't quite like a mafia. Maybe that's some exaggeration, who knows. But even Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI talks about various cliques and gangs in seminaries. And if they're in seminaries, then why wouldn't they be in the Vatican too? So yeah, it's certainly some food for thought, something to think about. As I said, he doesn't go into great detail. There is actually a book called Goodbye Good Men that I would recommend. It's an interesting book where the author talks to numerous men, either men who went to seminary and then kind of felt pushed out and ended up not going for the priesthood because the things they saw going on there were shocking to them. And there are also interviews with people who are actually priests now, and who went through this, and they talk about what they went through and how they kind of managed to get through it, but it was very difficult for them. They basically, as you would say, they had to play into this game and just ignore the bad stuff that was going on and only focus on the good things just to get through seminary. So if you want a more detailed account of some of the things that happened, I think that book mainly talks about seminaries in the USA, and feel free to check out that book. Thank you for watching, folks, and see you again soon.